This movie was very good. I don't like how it ends, but most of it was quite entertaining. Hey yo, what's good? Welcome to The Gist. With me, Jared. Michael B. Jordan and director Ryan Coogler are back at it again. Looking for a fresh start, gangster twins travel back to their hometown to open a club and entertain. But opening night takes a turn for the worst when an uninvited guest comes to party. Sinners is definitely deserving of the high praise it's been getting since its premiere. The performances all around were quite good. Michael B. Jordan did a great job at playing twins with very distinct personalities. Haley Steinfeld continues to impress with her performance as Mary. And the clear standout is Miles Canton. It was very impressive seeing his acting ability and music talent displayed in the movie.
Will somebody take me in your eyes?
Sinners also did a good job at establishing the 1930s setting. Everything looked and felt authentic to Mississippi in that time. Now, from a pacing standpoint, that's where the movie doesn't shine for me. The first and second acts were the best part of Sinners, whereas the third act was a bit of a slog and tonal shift to get through. The introduction to the characters and fleshing out of their relationships was very interesting and engaging. I liked seeing the Smokestack twins embark on a bit of a fetch quest to ensure their club's opening night is a hit. It was in the first 2/3 of the film where you get pretty compelling character work. And the movie also did well at setting a bleak, ominous, and even paranormal supernatural undertone. And those jump scares definitely got me. But then when the inevitable confrontation between the vampires and our main characters happen, the movie kind of stalls for a bit. It takes a little while for their conflict to escalate. The tone in the score also switches from something of a subtle threat and darkness feel to a more gothic, operatic tale. The last chunk of the film is where I felt the 2-hour, 17-minute runtime. Once the conflict ends, the movie continues for a good bit to give us endings for the surviving characters. And then the post-credit scenes basically do that as well.
Don't cry. It's all better now.
I think a lot of the reason I didn't find the third act as fulfilling is centered around the decision for the evil force to be vampires. The introduction of vampires to the story was good, but then I lost a sense of fear and threat of them in light of how long it takes for the action to happen. The movie sets up music and the power of it as central to its theme and story.
There are legends of people with the gift of making music so true. It can conjure spirits from the past and the future.
The premise of music being able to pierce the barrier between time and dimensions was an interesting concept that I was willing to go along with. I liked the dedicated party scene they had to showcase this. But in looking at the movie overall, this concept should have either been thrown out or stratified with much more detail. The story doesn't really explore this idea with much depth. And then Count Hicula's motives as it relates to music wasn't explained well either. It's not very clear if Miles' music summoned or called the vampire to him, nor what Count Hicula wanted Miles for specifically. The vampires also had several opportunities to win, but didn't do so. It also didn't really make sense that the vampires retreated from the conflict when they had the clear and definitive advantage to overcome the small group of humans. I think it would have been more interesting to use some other kind of evil force or demonic entity rather than a vampire. Maybe the movie could have had it where music conjures up dark spirits, and then the dark spirits begin to infect those around it, or those who hear and listen to its music. And then the spirit compels the possessed individuals to engage in more illicit, or dare I say, sinful behavior. I mean, the movie's already quite provocative with its dialogue, and with the way the characters conduct themselves, there's hardly any saints here. I think something like that would have been more aligned with the musical and spiritual themes of the movie. And then the evil spirit's motive could have been made more clear by wanting to possess the musically talented individual. Possessing Miles would have been its way to plunge the world into chaos and depravity. I think this movie could have benefited from a more tragic ending, instead of the pretty stereotypical hero beats monster one that we got. An unsettling ending where the protagonists don't win could have prompted the audience to pause and think about the music and content they're consuming and what it does to them. Again, that's if you want to make the power of music aspect of the storyline a lot more compelling and important. If you just wanted KKK vampires in the 30s, we could have done without the music power stuff. And that's the gist for some of my thoughts on Sinners. This movie has quite the strong first and second acts, but the third act, and ultimately the decision to go with vampires, left me with a bit of a sour aftertaste of the film. Overall, it's still very well acted. I don't think the last chunk of the film, nor the other underwhelming aspects of the plot, are enough to tarnish the rest of my experience. I'd still give this movie a solid recommendation. What did you think of Sinners? Hit me up, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll catch you next time on The Gist. Can somebody take me in your arms?